We're here with our friend Yvette Herrell. It's been a while. Yvette Herrell, you're running in New Mexico's 2nd Congressional District again. Tell us about your campaign, your opponent, and the race.
Oh, Mark, thanks so much for having me. It has been a while, and we are working to deliver New Mexico and the nation a victory. So, I served in Congress. It was the honor of my life, and we lost by 1,300 votes 2 years ago just by virtue of, complacency on the Republican part. But we're running against a progressive Democrat who sides with Nancy Pelosi and Kamala Harris, voted against every single bill that would have secured our southern border, voted to defund the police, voted against parental rights. The whole thing doesn't match up with this district, and so we are working hard to make sure we deliver a win in November.
She seems like one of these Democrat zombies, They're like 99% marching in the same way on these outrageous positions. What is your opponent's name?
Gabe Vasquez.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the guy who claims to do so much for the border. But I got to tell your listeners, I've been endorsed by the U.S. Border Patrol Council as well
Wonderful.
as it's great, New Mexico Sheriff's Association and the Albuquerque Police Officers Association because of my work and my stance for ensuring we're keeping our men and women with the tools they need, those that put their life on the line every day. And here we've got a guy who's completely fine with not trying to find the 300,000 missing kids, fine with the flow of fentanyl, fine with not supporting Israel. And these are real kitchen table issues, Mark, and you know that.
Mm-hmm. And I know people like Gabe. They're probably spending millions of dollars lying about their record, lying about you. It's the same playbook that they're using against you. Do I have that about right? He's probably spending 3 or 4 times more than you, and he's pretending he's you and that you're him.
That's exactly right. And I call it now kind of it's the spaghetti time in the campaign because they are throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. And the good news is, Mark, people know me. These aren't ads. These are character assassinations. Yeah. And when I'm out there, every day, our team, I got to tell you, is incredible. We've knocked over 100,000 doors. We're making calls. We're writing notes. The energy is good. And I don't know if you heard, but President Trump will be actually in New Mexico on Thursday, which will be a great way to just ensure that people know we are paying attention to New Mexico. Trump's paying attention to New Mexico, and we deserve better than what we have in Washington, D.C. right now.
So you really have a good ground game. You're really working hard at this. So how does it look to you? It's not simple math. I get it. It's hard to know, but how does it look? You got a lot of energy in your army of volunteers?
We do. I'm so blessed, and it looks good. It feels good. It's going to be a tight race. It's going to be within the margin of error. We're there right now, but like I said, it's just been such a robust effort in terms of having real conversations with voters. When I announced 2 years ago, interesting story, I think I'm the only candidate that had, at the time, a Speaker of the House, McCarthy come out and kick off our race. And then just last week, we kind of are winding up this race with Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. So kind of a unique situation there. But, here's what I'll tell you, and I think people need to hear this. I believe party affiliation is getting in the way of good policy discussions. I think when you start just having the conversations with people, it doesn't matter if they're Republican, Democrat, Independent. When we start talking about the issues, it always in New Mexico comes back to the wide open border, this horrible economy, crime, and the condition of the education system here. And, we're number 1 in crime in the country. We're 50th in school. Yeah, this isn't rocket science here. We just need common sense people that have some leadership skills that understand, what it's like to sign the front of a paycheck and are not afraid to stand up. And, you and I talked about these things, a couple of years ago, and not much has changed here, but we're going downhill, and this state deserves better, and we want to deliver a win so that we can help expand that majority.
Yeah, your governor's a crackpot. Everybody knows that. It's very tough. You're a border state, and I remember when New Mexico was actually a fairly Republican state. I don't mean overwhelmingly, but fairly Republican with Senator Dominici, right? Senator Dominici.
Yeah, Domenici. It's Domenici. Yeah. It was Senator Domenici, and yeah, we actually, we haven't had a presidential win here since I think Bush, and we kind of go back and forth with our governors every 8 years because they normally hold the 2 4-year terms. But we had Susana Martinez, the Republican. Now we've got this crazy, Michelle Grisham, who actually thinks the prioritizing of building a $10 million abortion clinic is more important than helping small businesses and securing the border and getting the National Guard on the border. So it's
you can have a whole assembly line there, a whole abortion factory there, and I think that's next in line with the Democrats. They're very focused on this. They call that reproductive rights. They got all kinds of weird things they believe. Yvette Herrell, now let me ask you this: so the president's coming in. I assume you're going to be able to visit with him a little bit?
Yes, in fact, I will be there for sure, and can't wait to see him. And I've been so blessed to have met him and spent some time with him as a member of Congress and, of course, after when he was out of office. So he gets it, Mark, we're the number 2 energy producer in the country in terms of fossil fuels. And here we have a governor, and we have an administration in Washington that want to do away with traditional energy, which you and I both know that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. And it's just backwards. We're not putting the value of the American people over politics. And I think many people are feeling very left behind. They're feeling very concerned about the condition of our country, very concerned about how we're setting these children up for failure, not success. And another thing that's just fascinating to me is that we're actually having this conversation. My opponent, Gabe Vasquez, voted to allow men play in women's sports, men in girls' bathrooms, men in girls' locker rooms. This is beyond troubling.
You know what I call that, Yvette? I call that the pervert bill. Because when I was a kid, when I was a kid, if you had a guy in a girl's bathroom or locker room, they'd be charged and they go to jail.
Right.
What kind of phony civil rights issue is this?
You're exactly right. And what I think we've got going on is people know this is crazy and it's wrong, but we've got to this place where, especially after COVID, many good conservative types and many people with biblical values and principles don't want to step up and speak out.
Well, you know what? They're not good conservatives, and they're not good people of faith if they don't speak out now. It takes nothing to speak out when nothing's going on or you're speaking to your own people. It really takes guts to speak out and challenge what's going on in this country. And that's what you have, guts. And that's why I think you're so great. And you were great in your one term in the House. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to encourage people because people don't feel like there's leadership and they don't want to speak up. And now, they see the moral condition of this country. They see that we are standing on a ground that is not the same America we grew up in. We're not prioritizing things and the spending. It goes so deeper than the obvious, the open border, the fentanyl, the condition.
Yvette, we're going to have to go. I want to get this in. If you want to help Yvette, if you folks in New Mexico we're heard in New Mexico. We're heard all over the country. It's YvetteHerrell.com. YvetteHerrell, REEL.com. YvetteHerrell.com. It's on all my social sites. She's a fantastic lady, fantastic candidate. I endorse her with all my heart.